weekend. We know this is what we're meant to do. So we wake up, put our feet on the floor, go and conquer the day like a warrior, like warriors. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's right, that's right. No need to panic anymore. We got lots of support and an army of warriors by our side. We fight the good fight when we unite. We fight the good fight when we unite. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's right, that's right.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sondra Ray, and I am here with Peter, the owner of Explore ProTech. And this is Explore ProTech Coffee Shop Show, where we talk about all things business, international business, because he is in Africa and I am in the US. So, and we definitely have other panelists that come on that are from all over the world, from Canada to UK and everything in between. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. How are you, Peter?
I'm actually doing really well. Surprisingly, very surprised. We seem to be having a spot of bad weather. I hear you guys are having bad weather up there as well.
Not in Michigan currently, but yes, we've definitely we've been having flooding and tornadoes all over the U.S. unfortunately. So I know my home state of Indiana, over half of it's flooded. So yes, we've definitely been going through it. So yeah, for sure, for sure.
Well, it's a good thing that you're here because I think today's topic is right up your alley.
So, for people that don't know, April is Financial Literacy Month. And of course, we talk entrepreneurship, so we're going to talk about it from that angle. And for those who don't know, I am actually I'm an insured agent, and I do work with a company, and I do offer financial education. So, yes, this is right up my alley as far as this is my other life, other stream of income, depending on how you want to look at it. They'll start there. You should have multiple streams of income. You should not have all your income coming from one spot. So definitely multiple streams of income, and that is one of my streams of income. Very blessed to work with an amazing company. But let's get into financial literacy. So financial literacy, I want to just read this straight up. Google definition: financial literacy is the ability to understand and apply financial knowledge and skills to make informed decisions about managing money, including budgeting, saving, investing, and managing debt. You don't know what you don't know. So I can honestly say I was not raised in a household where financial literacy was a thing. My family was paycheck to paycheck, week to week, very stressful environment. So I know what that feels like. And then I also know what it feels like to be able to become an entrepreneur and do that financial world too. So I've come through, and I've been divorced, and I've come through many different financial things to get where I am at today. So if you're watching this live on YouTube, please say hello. I do interact in the comments. I multitask. Peter helps me with that. So, but why financial literacy is so important is because it affects everything. It affects your day-to-day. It affects your future. It affects your children's future, your grandchildren's future, et cetera, et cetera. It affects your business, business one, business two, business three, business four. However many businesses you have or are going to have are all affected by financial. Honestly, I'm not a huge numbers person, and neither is Peter. So we'll start with that. We are not a numbers person. We hire the experts. We have the experts. We have the bookkeepers. We have the CPAs. We have the lawyers for a reason. But that doesn't mean that we don't need to know. That we still need to know what's going on. I can honestly say I've done some blind business without looking at numbers, and I am still paying for that debt. Full transparency. So just because you don't understand numbers or numbers are not your thing, quote unquote, doesn't mean that you should not know. Because if you don't know, then you're the one that's digging out from the hole. Nobody's going to come save you. So literacy is extremely important. Do you need to know stock markets in the US and China and all these different things? If that's your industry, of course, but no, you don't have to know how that exactly works. You need to know somebody that does know how it works and how it affects you and your business. I live in the United States, and if you're not into watching anything in the US, but US has its own political stuff going on. And my household is a federal employee household. So whether I agree or disagree or don't get into politics, because I usually really, really don't get into politics, but it all affects me on a personal level, on a household level. So I need to know what's going on. So knowledge is power. Power is knowledge. Applied power is where you make the shift. So that is something I have done in the last year as I've gotten into financial industry is applying the knowledge, and why I got so into it. And when my friend brought me in, I was like, nah, I don't want to do numbers. Da, 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 da. He's just like, okay, just run the admin, do that thing. And I was just like, okay. And then the more I learned, the more I was like, oh, I really should know this stuff. I wasn't taught by my family. So now I have to learn, and now I am teaching it to my family, and I am setting up my grandchildren and great grandchildren for wealth building, so that they're not starting out at 40, 50 years old like I am. So it's so important. And just you can teach financial literacy from the get-go from age 2, 3. My youngest was she is a go-getter. She saves, she still saves to this day. She's a saver, she's a budgeter. She's eager to get in the financial industry. She turns 18 in the fall, and she's super uber eager. We've been rotating through some books, and so that she has knowledge, not just knowledge that mom teaches her, but knowledge from other people, because there's so many people out there that are expertise in that area. So financial literacy is about reading and learning, and there's YouTube videos. You can learn in whatever way that works for you. That is definitely for sure one way. As far as your business, and I'm going to speak to the US because I don't have a great knowledge base for international, but in the US, business credit and personal credit are two separate things. So in the US, you can build business credit and your personal credit, and they're two different things. To start your business credit, they do look at your personal credit. So it still matters. And I was coached by an amazing woman who does personal and business credit for a couple of years. So that's where my background in that comes from. You can make very strategic moves so that you're using other people's money to grow your business. Just straight up play the game. It's a game. It's a game, people. It's a game whether you like it or not. It's a game. You got to figure out how to play the game smartly so that you're not losing and you're on the making money end. And not just necessarily making money, but making money moves that are going to financially set you, whether it's retirement or whether you want to leave things for your kids, your grandkids. You know, a couple of my kids had to take out student loans. I had to pay off student loans. Like there's all these things that even if you don't do a business, there's still financial things that you need to know as a person, whether you are going into a career and taking school, or you're want to start a business, but those are all extremely important. And we've talked about, business plans and lawyers and all those things. And we even brought on Susan, the bookkeeper. So those experts are great, but if you don't have a basic knowledge of, what comes in and what goes out and how does that work, and, where should I be looking for investors or not investors is extremely important. And it's ever evolving. The world changes at a blink of an eye. literally. So I would say, do your best to keep up. Again, but know who your expertise are, know who you can trust for the information. Because there's definitely a lot of good and bad information out there. So I think as a business owner, it's our due diligence. Just like if we're looking at staff or anything else, or a coach, we need to know how to pick those and how to know like what is their financial background, what made them an expert, how'd they get here? Was it on their own dime? Was it on somebody else's dime? Was it a combination of dimes? Which, in the US, it's usually a combination of dimes, or it's usually not their own money. It's crazy what I've learned in the last year. Walt Disney, that started Disneyland and Disney World, could not get a loan to save his soul when he started Disney World and Disneyland. So he used investment opportunities to fund Disneyland and Disney World until it grew. And then people are like, oh, wait a minute, let us get on the boat and jump in here. And he's like, I've been doing it on my own, on my back, using my business strategies to get there, using investments that have been around or strategies that have been around for 100 years. And now you want in? This doesn't make any sense. You weren't there from the get-go. And it is hard to find people from the get-go that are be like, I believe in your dream and da-da-da. And I love his story just because he didn't do it the traditional way. It wasn't big loans. It wasn't investors that did is how he started. And of course, now he's international all over the world and a billion-dollar industry, billions of dollars of industry. But was built on financial concepts of how to leverage money in annuities and life insurance and other ways, not the loans, not the investors, not that. He learned his financial literacy and applied it. And that's how he started Walt Disney. So I think that's really cool because you don't have to always have all these huge investors and all these huge things to start something. You have to get creative as a business entrepreneur. And that's extremely important. And again, that's where financial literacy comes into play. You have to be able to know how to use these vehicles and how to invest in them so that you can do those dreams and those things. The company I work with, that's one of the first things we do. We like top 10 dreams. What are your top 10 dreams? One of mine is to go to Africa to see Mr. Peter, which will happen this fall. So that was a dream I set a couple of years ago and really went after last year. So I'm extremely excited about that. But entrepreneurship is about dreaming, but you also have to be financially savvy to be able to do it. So Peter, come on in.
Yeah, I think I want to rock the boat a little bit. I think not knowing how to do something is no excuse not to do it. If that makes sense. I think entrepreneurs generally have the spirit of let's find what people need and give it to them, and we will generate revenue in the process. But if you don't know how to do something, there's no excuse. You find out how it's done, and then you follow that process, and you build, and you grow, and you develop. What makes life a whole lot easier, and especially if you're being honest with yourself, I know what strengths I have, but I'm more well aware of my weaknesses than my strengths, because the more you are aware of your weaknesses, the more you know who you actually need to be connecting with. Who do you need to be speaking to? Well, you need to be speaking to the people that are strong where you are weak. It doesn't help that you surround yourself with a whole bunch of yourselves. I mean, like you take a room. It's the same as a project. You take on a project and you only hire loudmouths. You just hire the people that just talk loud and that just shout but where are the doers? Where are the ideas people? Where are the people in the background that get things done? Where are the people that actually take what's being said and implement? Where are those people? If you don't have those people, then you have nothing other than a room full of people speaking loudly. So in order to actually achieve something, there needs to be a balance. There needs to be a balance between yourself, who you are, your strengths, your weaknesses, and the people that you surround yourself with. In this case, we're talking about the space of finance. If you do not know, like, I'll take myself as a prime example. I'm an extreme dyslexic. Don't show me a spreadsheet. It means absolutely nothing to me. It's like a Picasso. It's all over the place. The ear's not quite right. Or was that Van Gogh? I think it was Van Gogh. Yeah.
I'm not into arts. Like,
Yeah. So the trick is to surround yourself with the people that do know, and in the process to learn from them. Just because they're doing it for you doesn't mean you don't need to know what they're doing. And you can actually rely on that relationship to learn in the process. So, do I do my own finances? No, I would destroy us. But do I need to know exactly where my finances are at in my business in order to be informed to make decisions? Oh, goodness me, yes. If I need to step into a new space, maybe we need a new application, maybe we're going to be building something out and we need an application, I need to know, can my business afford that? And if my business cannot afford that, do I know the right people to create a workaround? If I don't, then I need to meet those people. So it's all about being smart, understanding your strengths, your weaknesses, and surrounding yourself with the right people. I think in regards to the space of finance, if you are going to surround yourself with somebody that's in the financial space, do yourself a favor and find the right person. There are many people in the space of finance, many. It's a booming industry. But find the person that communicates with you in a way that you understand. I generally do not understand an accountant when they start rambling on about the numbers. And I'm like, that doesn't help me. So I specifically had to find an accountant that understands me and understands that I do not understand the spreadsheet and can literally have a conversation and go, this is what I've been through. This is what I've done. This is what I've balanced off. This is where we're at. And they're even doing it in picture form. Like they can do it in pictures. I can understand that. They can do it in verbally, like this is where we're at. This is what the future's looking like. This is where we're heading. This is our target. And then I have a very complete picture of the space that I'm in. And that complete picture gives me the ability to be informed. I think that's probably the key word in this entire conversation, being informed. If you are not informed, you will make stupid decisions that look like they're smart, and you'll only figure out how stupid they are like months later. Whereas you could have made the same decision, been informed, approached it in a different manner, and have succeeded because you were informed on how to approach it. So I think especially in the space of finances, be informed of exactly where you're at. If you are not the person to keep yourself informed on your finances, find somebody that will. Because if you're not the person that's going to go into your banking and go and double check all your numbers and make sure everything's correct and everything's balanced, you don't want to take money from one place and rob one place to supply another, only to realize you shouldn't have done that. You want to be informed at all times. Where are we at? What are we looking at? What is this going to cost? Is it going to cost us anything? Because I think that's the kicker. When you start building relationships with people, you can build things based on your strengths and theirs. You're not limited to just your own strength. And I think we tested it once before, and we had somebody approach our space and go, this is my 5-year plan. And all I need to do is X, Y, and Z. I'm great at X, but I have no clue how to do Y and Z. And we were like, oh, okay. Well, let's bring in the people that know Y and Z backwards. It was no longer a 5-year plan. I think it was achieved in like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, turned in months, not into years.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So
For sure.
if you're smart about your space, you can achieve so much more, but don't let the limiting belief of yourself thinking that just because I don't know how to do something that I shouldn't actually investigate and learn how to do it.
Exactly, exactly. And I think the other couple of points she made is that surround yourself with the right people, whether that's in a community or you have to do it one by one and you have to build your own team around you. That does happen. But we are blessed in Explore Project that we get to benefit from the community that Peter and his team have built. Um, so definitely, and we have an accountant, aka his amazing wife, Nistine. Uh, so we have that on our team, and the bookkeepers and the lawyers, and. So that's amazing. The other thing that I wanted to mention is the doers. So we didn't have a show last week because I was traveling back from a conference for that side of my business. And part of the conference was for the operations team, which I'm an agent, but I'm also an operations team for another team. And it could not have been stressed any more than you just stressed it, that a lot of agents and leaders and agencies are amazing, but the operation team is the backbone. If they can do amazing things, they have amazing knowledge, and they do. But at the same time, they don't want to do the CRMs and the follows ups and all those things that are part of the business model. They need the doers. And we actually got our moment to shine. We got to go up with the national leaders and we got our moment to shine as operations team because they're like, hey, without you, we can't be the leaders. We can't be these national leaders. We can't be these millionaires and things that they're doing without the operations team. So knowing your strengths and weaknesses, if you're not a doer or you're not a doer of your numbers or your CRM or whatever, know that and be honest with yourself. I think that's really important. Be honest with yourself. Yes, numbers, I'm not amazing at numbers, but I know enough to know that I'm not amazing at numbers and that I need a bookkeeper. And then this year I consulted a CPA. She goes, you actually know more than you think you do. I explained to her the exact situation, had my questions, and she's like, you're very knowledgeable. If you have a run-in, contact me and I'll answer it for you for free, but there's no reason for you to hire me right now. You have it under control. And I was like, okay, I'm like, take a little dollar. I'm like, yay. Because I was like, I'm over my head. I don't know. I don't think I can do our taxes this time. Like, I think I need to bring in the pros and stuff. And she's just like, I was able to explain everything, break it down to her, and business wise and personal wise. And she's just like, you know what you're talking about. If you don't, just give me a call. And like, I built the relationship in one phone call of a CBA saying, call me for free. Like, that is not very heard of, especially in the US. CPAs want to charge you by the minute, and usually $100 by a minute. So I was very surprised and very glad because somebody referred to me because I had built a relationship. I'm very much into relationship building business. That's what I do as a coach. That's what I do. Even my financial education services, it's about building relationships. My goal as a financial educator is not to sell you something. It is to educate you so you can figure out what you need for your current situation and what you need for your future situation. I do think financial investors can get a bad rap of like they're all only out to make a commission, da 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 da. I can truly say 1,000% from my heart, from me personally, and the people in the company I am with. It really isn't. It really is about education, and we're a distributor company. We're not we sell for this company and this is the only product we sell. We can pick from, I think we're up to like 500 different products we can pick from now, with like 25 different companies because we're really about education, and teaching you about, tax advantage, tax-free, rule of 72, all these financial concepts that I honestly didn't fully know until a year ago. Should have things you should have learned in high school, that high school that doesn't teach you numbers, even though that's the thing you deal with the whole entire life. Teach you math, but not financial math. Is definitely something that we have to do better of teaching. But all that to say is that yes, you need to learn some basic things yourself, to at least know if you're good at it or know if you need to hire the experts, because not everybody's an expert at everything. And yeah, as there's people that claim to be experts and are not experts. I don't claim to be a financial expert because there's a lot I don't know. I'm learning, and I'll say, hey, I'll learn with you, or I know X, Y, and Z, like let's start there. And I have a lot of experts in my pocket, resource pocket, to be able to help you with that. And so that is one thing. And I'm learning. We went international 6 months ago, so I'm learning the international field too. But I have experts in there too, so I don't have to necessarily know all the international stuff. But knowing knowledge is power, applied knowledge is where you make the money, basically, make the moves. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, and I think this is where we need to put like a bit of a word of caution out there. Um, just because somebody may be an accountant doesn't mean that they're the right person to be helping you. So this is based off of more than just, oh, this person's an accountant, they can do my books. That's not what you're looking for. That is not what you're looking for. What you're looking for is somebody that through relationship is invested in the fact that your business succeeds. That's called relationship. So when you are in the space of community, if I have issues or problems with the finances in my space and I need to understand something, I can go straight to my accountant and I can go like, look, this is what's happening at the moment. Where are we at? Can you paint me a picture of the knowledge that I need so that I can make an informed decision? And that person's understanding of my space is that they are there to then support me so that I can make the right decision. Because if I make the right decision, it improves my business. But because we are in a community, if I grow, they grow, we grow. So a community is a really good place to build the relationships with the people that you need. However, there are people out there that don't want to be involved in a community. They just want an accountant. I want an accountant, do the books, give me the facts. It's not as easy in that space to be, oh, how will I word it? It's not as easy in that space to be strategic. When the people that are by your side are actually helping you because they want you to succeed, you can be a whole lot more strategic as to who you're speaking to, why you're speaking to them. Knowing their response to you is one that is credible. So you've got to be very careful when you're selecting people. There's a lot of people out there. I mean, let's look at LinkedIn. LinkedIn is great. There are some incredible people in LinkedIn. But for every incredible person, there's 100 people that are all claiming to be the best professional in that field. Oh, look at the best leadership coach. How many best leadership coaches are there? Like, isn't there a best? Or like, is there a best? Or like, which one is actually the best if they're all self-proclaimed the best? So there are people in the finance space. They're the best in the finance space. The people in every different industry, and there's all these proclaimed the best. The only way to decipher and see who you need to be speaking to is by actually building relationships. If I come across somebody that says, I'm the best in the financial space, and I go, okay, now I want to build a relationship with that person, and they're like, no, they don't want to build a relationship. They just want to do my finances. I'm not interested in talking to you because you don't have my best interest at heart. You have my money in your mind, and you want my money in your pocket. And you're not actually going to deliver to me the way that I need it delivered. And I'm not going to be able to make the decisions I need to make because I haven't got the relevant information, but you've still got my money. So you need to be very careful as to who you're speaking to and how you're speaking to them and what they're promising you and what you're going to be receiving. And I think spaces like that are all about perceived value. If you let me be your accountant, I will achieve X, Y, and Z. It's all just perceived value. It's value that doesn't actually really have value. It's just perceived. So be careful who you interact with. Choose people that want you to succeed. Choose people that maybe even choose people that you can help them succeed based on your strengths. Because then you have a two-way street, and that there is strategy.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's how I started. I started with internships and barters and, I can do this. Can you do that? My bookkeeper Well, to this day, we're still a barter. I mean, and she could definitely charge me. But what we decided is that we'll still do the barter, and then we invested in tools that made her business make helps her business, but also helps my business because she can use the tool to enhance my business. So I'm
Strategy.
paying for the tool that she is learning more and more about by using my business. And I've actually done that more than once. Hey, come in and learn this tool because it's going to help me, but I'm going to pay just a tad bit less or exchange time or resources or whatever instead. And it's a win-win. You get to learn the platform, so then you can go out and say, hey, I know this platform. I'm thinking of my CRM, and now the person that set mine up didn't have any knowledge of it and now does. And I actually can recommend them and go, hey, he did it for me. He can do it for you. Actually, right now in the middle of a possible contract for that right now. I'm like, yeah, he does know it because he did it for me. And I know that personally. And that's how he learned. And he has, because we have an expert in the community, an expert in the CRM itself, so that he has a fallback, even though he's newer, as in 2 years versus somebody that's been around. So definitely that. I think the other thing is that pick people that, yeah, like you said, have your best interest, that you both have a win-win situation if possible. At the very least, you have the same goal. My goal is to have my books, I don't know, caught up, or my goal is to have um forecast my future financially so I can apply for a grant. Like what do you want the outcome of the relationship to be? Um, Definitely. And the other is um credibility. Like, are you new? Please tell me you're new. If you're new, that is, to me, I was new. I'm very big on new people are not necessarily the wrong fit. It just depends on how they want to learn, what they want to learn, what is their other background. Because everybody needs a chance at some point. Some things I will not bring in as new people because that's just not an area you should do that. But I know we have a whole business program, so we work with you work with new people all the time, entrepreneurs. Um, so being new doesn't necessarily mean that they're not qualified to help you. You just need to make sure you have, the same concepts or the same goals and understand that they're new, and that their communication is so key and that for sure. And again, if you know your finances, then you're just bringing them in to do maybe the back end admin work so they can learn about it, but you know what's going on the whole entire time. And you give somebody a chance to build their business, which is going to lead to referrals and lead to, I don't know, I've become the first affiliate for people that are newer because, hey, you helped me from the ground. So like here, be my affiliate and da 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 da. Now I make money as an affiliate. Was not my goal 2 years ago when we met. My goal 2 years ago was I need help and you're newer and like let's do this. But it can lead to other things down the road, for sure. So yeah, knowing your finances and knowing financial literacy is extremely important. Um, Even if you're not the expert in it. Find the experts or find the people that can help you. And they don't have to be the expert. Maybe it's the accountant student that just graduated from accounting class. I mean, expert can mean a different, expert does not necessarily mean they've been in 20 years in the industry and I've had people 20 years in the industry or that are not the experts. So they just have been in their 20 years in the industry. The other thing is that when you're looking at financial, if you can find somebody that has experience with your industry. So if you're a real estate person and you hire somebody that's worked in, I don't know, movies, it's apples to oranges. Can they do it? Yeah, probably, because it's still numbers, but it's apples to oranges. And I have learned this I have learned this lesson myself as a virtual assistant when I started out. I was like, I can do any industry. I can do coach anybody in any industry. No. Even the financial industry, getting into that, I was like, okay, this is a whole new world, whole new real estate. It's its own world. Um, there's always overlap, especially when it comes to numbers, expenses, profit, like all those are across the board, but they all have a different spin on them when it comes to an industry. So if you can find people in your industry to teach you about the financials for your industry, that's a gold star in my book because they understand it. They know what's going on. They know that, you know, you need, like in financial industry, there's CE, continuing education classes you have to take every year, and and there's license for each state and type of licenses, and So they're going to understand all that when you're going, here's a pile of expenses, and you got to sort out all these different things. We're in tax season here. Tax day is April 15th, so we're in tax season. So I know a lot of people that are sorting through all that stuff, but it's a lot easier if you have financial people in your corner that are also in your industry. I would highly recommend that, because they can go through things a lot quicker and maybe have less questions to ask you, because they understand, you know, you need a license for this, or you need this type of software or whatever. So think about that when you're putting people on your team or having experts help you, like, hey, what do you have? I actually worked for a tax prep place, not as a tax consultant. I was a receptionist, but I worked in a city office, and I worked in a farm community office, and the farmer community office and the city office were not the same. Same company, exact same company, a national company, exact same company, very different how they were handled. The farmer comes in with their muddy boxes and puts the receipts on your thing. The city people come in with their spreadsheet and hands you, like there was night and day differences. Again, same company, very different because of the type of clientele they deal with. The same thing with the industry, same way with your accountant and your CPA. If your CPA works with lawyers and you want them to work with small businesses, they might not be the right fit. I mean, I'm not saying they can't be, but they might not. They know the lawyers world versus a small business startup company or something like that. So go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, I think I'll use one of the most common things that I've seen in the financial space is in entrepreneurship. People that are employed, and we understand that people that are employed, we all know that we are maybe 2 paychecks away from losing everything. Everyone around the world, it doesn't matter what country you're in, if you're employed, you are literally, if you're living hand to mouth, month to month, you are very few paychecks away from being completely homeless. It's where it leads. You lose your job, you can't find another one. How long does it take before the house is gone, the car is gone, and people are using entrepreneurship as a backbone to support themselves. So they will be employed, but they will start a side hustle, and that side hustle is meant as a safety net, and that's understandable and that's great, and I will encourage it. But the biggest mistake I've ever seen is entrepreneurs turning around and going, I'm an entrepreneur now. I don't need to be employed because I'm going to make money as an entrepreneur. With zero understanding of the finances behind it, with zero understanding of what it takes, with zero understanding of what it is that they're actually doing. And the very first thing that they do is they reach out and their response is, oh, I need investment. I need an investor because I'm an entrepreneur now and I do X, Y, and Z, and my little business just needs this financial boost. Okay. But weren't you employed? Weren't you actually your own investor? You were employed. You had a revenue stream coming in, a guaranteed revenue stream based on your job that you quit to become an entrepreneur. And now you're not quite doing what you should be doing. You don't really know how it's done. You haven't made the right decisions. And you're either going to have to go and beg for your job back, or you manage to find an investor that doesn't see past the fact that you made silly choices and as to why you need an investment in the first place. So, number 1, make smart choices. If you are your own investor, put in the blood, sweat, and tears to build your entrepreneurial space to a point where it can carry you. But don't think for a second that you're going to leave your job and it's going to magically carry you. That it doesn't work that way. So this is where being informed comes in. If you are employed and you are an entrepreneur and your entrepreneurial venture is taking off, position the people around you that can inform you to the degree that you know that when you leave your job, that source of revenue is not coming in anymore, but you know that this source of revenue is coming in. It's a balancing act. But the amount of times I've seen people make stupid financial decisions and come to me and go, "Oh, I need investment. Do you know anybody that's willing to invest?" I would not risk it because you just made the stupidest choice and you removed yourself as your own investor. Now you want somebody else to foot the bill. A guarantee on the return on their investment is not very great if those are the decisions you're making. So to avoid those decisions, be informed about your finances. Given a lot of people that aren't employed, don't have an income, will start from nothing with zero investment, zero, and they will build something. They will create something. They will create revenue because they're making smart choices. There is no room to mess up. You make a mistake, you fix it, you move forward. You make another mistake, you fix it, you move forward. But to avoid those mistakes, understand your finances. Please. I'm begging you.
Yeah, 100%. And something else you touched about, review, so you can apply the lessons quicker. So that's definitely when I do talk about quarterly reviews, is that you need to review your finances. Like you should know what your quarter, how your quarter ended, how your quarter started. And this is definitely something that I've had to learn the hard way. So I'll be honest about that. And my bookkeeper and I were talking like this year we're going to be better about staying up quarterly versus, every 6 months or something like that, because you can't. It's harder to dig out of a 6 month year hole than it is a quarter hole. So if your quarter went south or went sideways or didn't go the way you planned it, that's entrepreneurship in a nutshell. So what can you do to course correct so that you're not sitting at the end of the year with huge debt? Unfortunately, I've had to do that, and it sucks. Like a learning lesson for me, it sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. Digging out of a hole that feels impossible. Then you're going to make poor choices because then you're basing them on a fear of money and all those things. Don't do that. Be financially literate when it comes to not only like just financial concepts, but also about your business. And again, you don't have to be a numbers person to be financially literate. It's about knowing. Find somebody, like Peter said, that can explain it to you in your language, whether it's pictures, spreadsheets, flowcharts, audio, whatever. There's all of that's out there, especially in today's world. You take something, if somebody doesn't even know how to do it, they'll be like, hey, throw it in whatever heck there is out there and make it into a way you can, but your accountant should be able to do that and be willing to meet you there. For sure, for sure. So this is the start of the topic, or start of the discussion about finances is today, and then the rest of the month we will be talking about finances in different perspectives. And hopefully, not hopefully, we'll bring on some experts, that definitely are better at numbers than me and Peter combined, because that's what we do on the show. We bring in people to help with that. So I am Sondra. I'm the owner of Get It Done. I do have financial education services available. You would just hit me up on LinkedIn and we'll have a conversation about that. I'm still building out that page and everything in my world, but it doesn't mean that it's unavailable. It's just reach out definitely to me and I will connect with you and we'll get that done. And I've got some webinars and stuff coming up that I'm finalizing details for, and we'll definitely put those in the show notes when it is available. Peter, do you want to take us out?
Awesome. Before I do, if you're out there and you don't have the support that you need in regards to whether it's finances or whether it's legal, whether it's you name it, as an entrepreneur, we've built that community. So if you're out there and you're struggling to find that support, then come visit our family and come visit our community and just have some fun and meet some really incredible people. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. It's relevant and it's true. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of the show, and I'll end it off with the words of my lovely wife, Christine Boerter. May all your wildest entrepreneurial dreams come true.